I'm Anna-Marie Cox, and oh my god, this is a goddamn nightmare.
Nice! Wow, yeah. Anna from the block. That was good. Okay. All right, let me do this. Hi, I'm Daniel Dresner. And Anna, would this be an appropriate time for humor?
The fact that you tried to do an AI voice actually is like what I really appreciate. Like the actual quality of an AI voice.
Not so good?
I don't know, but I really like that you tried. I mean, okay. We'll talk more about this, the thing that we're talking about. Welcome to Space the Nation, where we look at science fiction through the lens of
principal agent theory
and autocatalytic processes. Today, we'll be talking about the J-Lo film Atlas, which is available on Netflix. In the next few weeks, we will discuss the great crossover sci-fi events of our time, starting with Star Trek Generations and followed by X-Men Days of Future Past. And we are considering doing a Avengers movie.
We will. There are other things coming up, but we're planning on doing that.
Maybe Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah. It's on the list, yeah.
Okay. We have lots of ideas, but are always taking suggestions. A good place to give our suggestions, to give us suggestions, is our Discord. But you can only be on the Discord. Dan, what is the way that people would join the Discord?
Well, an AI would know this already, Anna. I mean, an AI would know that in order
not. If you Google how to join
it would, if you Google how to join Space Nation, it would offer one or two suggestion traps. One would be become a patron for as little as $5 a month. The other might be sniffing glue. I'm not sure what which option it would offer. But
or adding glue to your computer.
Yes. Our suggestion would be become a patron. Go to patreon.com/spacethenation. For as little as $3 a month, you can be, a patron, get early access to podcasts, get access to our semi-monthly AUAs, get access to our wonderful Discord, which is just full of delightful people who comment on a variety of things, not limited to sci-fi. Also a little bit of an emotional support network for some people. So, might be good to expand your social capital. And all of the folks on there, definitely not AIs. They are absolutely not that. So, it's a real human interaction.
We do have a couple of bots that you can trigger. And I can't remember exactly. There's a cross-posting bot, and then there's a poll bot.
Yes.
But they're just bots.
Right, and it's a choice. A human is running the bot, just to be clear. Yeah.
Well, a human is invoking the bot,
yes.
A great way to support the show is to tell your friends and neighbors and to rate and review us. If you're not a patron, you also may have noticed we have some ads to start the episode. There'll be ads in the middle and ads at the end. And if you've installed Neuralink, well, you've already become a part of our system. So too late for you to either become a patron or have ads. You're just part of the board now.
From simple coffee makers to bots colonizing planets, we need ads for all of the AI, Anna.
We do appreciate it when you support us directly. It is the best way to stick it to capitalism. Dan, how are you?
I am good, Anna. In fact, I'm actually doing really well.
Oh, didn't expect that from you.
Well, I have some small career news, which I actually don't think I've told anyone, and this will come out in a week, so hopefully it'll be public by then. I'm being conferred an adjective by my university. I am going from being professor of international politics to distinguished professor of the university.
Oh my goodness gracious. Dan, I was going to go for cool dude.
No. Tufts has about a half dozen distinguished professors of the university, and I got awarded this. I want to be very clear, for those of you who know academia, this comes with no endowment. There's no chair or anything. There's no material reward. I've literally been awarded an adjective, but
no salary bump,
no salary bump, none
perks.
Of that. Nope. I
no
just am
secret club.
Well, I'll let you know. I'm going to tell you. No, as far as I know. No, but I am now distinguished professor of the university. I'm not even sure if I can put this on my business card, mind you. But I have to admit, I'm enough of an academic so that I'm still pretty pleased about it.
It's academic ease for super cool dude.
Yes, exactly. So, it was kind of nice. And as Erica put it when I told her this news, that's wonderful, honey. Now go make me a distinguished dinner.
That's really fun. I like Erica.
I do.
Well, Dan, I have some news to share.
Oh, do.
Well, it is that I'm going to go see Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring later.
Oh.
Today. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very excited. In theaters. Got my popcorn, got my ticket through the Cinemark Movie Club, which I highly recommend. if you join that, the tickets roll over, and they also apply for special events. And so I looked at several showings. It's
Listeners,
all day.
I just want to be clear. Cinemark is not advertising for this podcast. Anna is being genuine in her enthusiasm about this. This is not driven by any commercial motivations. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, that's how I saw Civil War 3 times. Also today, I put a bid in on a Blu-ray player.
So you can buy the Civil Wars DVD so you can watch Civil War on a weekly basis. Wow.
With all the special features. Yeah. There's a 6-part documentary. I looked at the special features to see if it was worth it. So, we can do a third Civil War episode.
No. I do feel like
we're going to do a standalone.
You know what? If the election goes a certain way in November, maybe that's what we can do that week. We'll pop up with a new Civil War episode.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh Dan.
Sorry.
Anyway, so I'm going to go see Fellowship of the Ring.
Excellent. Is this the 20th anniversary?
No, it's not. Maybe 20. It's 25th. No.
No.
Nope,
I think it's 20th.
Because this came out in 2001.
Oh, this is Fellowship of the Ring. Sorry. I was thinking Return of the King. You're right.
Yeah.
So no, it's no anniversary. It's a re-release.
So they're doing it all summer. They're doing the 3. It's one night, one day only here. I guess some places are doing it for more than a day.
Oh, lovely.
But super excited. And I'm going by myself, which, this is the kind of thing it'd be fun to have a date.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For.
You deserve a date.
What I remember, what makes me feel good, is that my ex-husband would have not done this with me. One of the reasons we're divorced.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, it's fun to just go for my own joy and not have to be like, oh, you don't want to go with me.
I mean, this is one of the cool things about being an adult, Anna. We occasionally just be like, screw it, we're going to a movie. Like, we get to do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I go to movies all by myself all the time. Yeah. But this is just one of those, it'll be nice to be in a full theater for it, too.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. So I think people can understand why I would go see Fellowship of the Ring by myself and multiple times. But Dan, this movie, people might wonder, why? Why, Atlas? I shrug. Why we see Atlas?
How dare you step on my joke like that? Anna, you bastard.
That's not a pun, Dan. That is not a pun.
That is, yes.
That is a genuine reference.
Much in the same way that I think we all almost involuntarily slow down upon seeing a car crash on the highway. At least when I first saw the trailer for this film, I thought, okay, let's just preemptively label this a schlock or awe ep, because, oh God, the trailer did not look good. It looked schlocky. You know what?
This is a bad movie.
It does not. Movie. I mean this in all seriousness. It does not rise to the level of schlock or awe. This is just a bad film. There are a couple things I like about it. We'll talk about that, but
I think we'll have fun talking about it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those almost good bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't quite rise to the level of good bad, but it is somewhat entertainingly awful. It does keep surprising you with how bad the choices are.
Yes, because it did not surprise me in any other way, just to be clear.
Right. Exactly. But wow, are they really going to do
Is
X?
that where you're going with this?
Wow.
Yep. I guess you are.
They did it. They did X. And then, are they really going to go with Y? They're going to go with Y? They did. They went with Y.
No, that's exactly how I felt. So you're right. I was not bored watching this film, but I don't know if entertained is the exact word I would use. It was more like, you're really going to, oh yeah, you are. You are going to do that. Oh, yeah. And we'll get to this in the story behind the story. There were many questions that did bubble to the top of my brain as I was watching this film.
They had nothing to do with the movie.
No, it had to do with the making of I wanted to know what in J-Lo's decision-making process caused her to do that.
Yes, let's take care of the other stuff.
Okay, so first let's just be very clear. Will this podcast ruin it for you? The answer is no. You should not watch this film. There are plot twists, sure, absolutely. Are there plot twists that you did not see coming from 300 miles away? No, there are not. It's an entirely predictable film, and it's not a good film.
My advice is to get screenshots of J-Lo.
Yeah, yes.
She looks amazing.
Best thing in the film. How she looks
aesthetically.
Is just, oh, God, yes.
She is 54. and is somewhat appropriately 54. Like, it's not like it's not.
Although I think in
like
the movie she's supposed to be like in her late 30s. But
oh, I know, but like she does not look like someone tried to like fix her face.
Right. No, she does not have, and I apologize for putting it this way, she does not have Nicole Kidman syndrome, is the way I would put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like it's a weird like low bar, but she doesn't look as like she's seen some miles like Kirsten Dunst in Civil War.
No.
No, but
her face
looks
moves.
Normal good. Yes. She looks normal good.
She looks normal good.
Beautiful.
You know what the standard here is? It's Jennifer Connelly in Top Gun Maverick. And she is at that level.
Yeah. You know, as I get to be that age, I start to appreciate, there is a beautiful woman around my age who looks around my age. And she looks great in general. Her body might be a little bit more, but she has one other thing I remember when I see like women my age bodies and they look like that. I'm like, oh, that's right. That's a full-time job for her.
Yes.
That's like, she can spend thousands of dollars getting there because literally that is her job.
But, yes, it is her job. And let's give her some credit. She puts in the work. We will talk about this later.
She puts in the work. Yeah. Also just naturally.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Actually, beautiful lady. But as we're spending some time on this, I want to say, like, I hope we're not upholding, outlandish beauty standards. I think we're making a lot of caveats around that. And if it seems like we're going on, it is because it is the best thing in the movie.
Yeah, by far. I'll get to the best special effects in this film later. But so let's get right to the story behind the story. And I suspect, honestly, Anna, is the story behind the story more interesting than the actual film?
Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some gossip in it. So... Okay. That's kind of cool. I didn't really care, so I didn't do a ton of research. I was curious about who voiced Smith because I didn't love it. Like, I felt like, this could be a better voice. Like, I don't know. It sounded, I guess, like an AI. Maybe I should be more appreciative.
I mean, that's the performance then. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, he's voiced by actor Gregory James Cohan, who has a long list of forgettable roles on IMDb. Like, honestly, like Bull, NCIS... that kind of thing, which he's a working actor. We admire working actors.
Yep.
But this is interesting. He was brought in to do the scratch track.
Oh.
Like, just to do the voice until they decided who was going to do the voice. Mm-hmm. And they really liked him, which I think speaks to the low bar of most of the things in this movie.
You're saying the director was basically easy to please. Like, that's a good take. We don't need to do anything more. That's fine.
Right, let's go.
That's good. Let's just keep going.
Best take.
Yep. Okay.
Keep going. Yeah.
Yep.
The script is by Leo Sardarian, who has 3 other credits. The Expansion Project, never heard of it, and Startup, one word. Not sure if there are other things called Startup. Mm-hmm. But I don't know which one that is. And also, I love this. Very mysteriously, there is a video listed as Housing Market with no link or other credits. And part of me is like, was that like a work video? Was that like a real estate training video?
You know what? I think you got to expand your possibilities. Maybe he was responsible for the 2008 financial crisis. I mean,
bigger bomb.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. The rewrites were by Aaron Eli. Dan, help me.
Colette? I honestly don't know. Or Colette. Let's just say that.
Colette? Sure. Colette. That sounds nice. It brings to mind a better writer. Who was responsible for Daybreak, which is a TV show. Heroes, The River, Ultimate X-Men, and Star Trek Discovery. I think he's a staff writer on Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, so he's to blame. Okay.
This is a line from Wikipedia. The film was not well received by critics. I love deadpan Wikipedia sometimes. So on the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 20% and an average rating of 3.9. Yeah.
That's not
so good. As we're behind the scenes, this is there wasn't a ton of press on this, because I don't think anybody who made it was particularly excited, but J-Lo, always game, always always kind of doing the work.
Yep.
Right? So there is an electronic press kit, and she says, the first time I read the script for Atlas, I felt very passionately about the story, and particularly the friendship story at the core of it. At the end of it, I was literally sobbing, which I don't believe her.
No, I really don't believe her either. Or she is the biggest softie in the world. Like that is
also, I mean, the Ben Affleck relationship does suggest that she has the softest of hearts.
Maybe that's a generous reading of this, I guess. Yes. Okay.
All right. And then some more behind the scenes. So Sterling K. Brown, from time to time, Ben Affleck and I would read the lines, I think, for Smith.
Right.
And I think the newlywed, still very much in love, I think she just wanted to hear her husband's voice.
Aww.
And so sometimes the reactions you got from her were because she was hearing her husband's voice. Clearly, this is prior to the recent unpleasantness in their marriage. According to, actually just looked it up today to see if those rumors are still around, and they're putting up their mansion for sale. So that's not good.
No, that's bad. Oh, no. Oh, dear.
So this is from a gossip website. So I'm going to tell you the context that site put this quote in.
Okay.
Which is Brad Payton, director, speaking at Netflix Tadum event, which it is funny. I do laugh every time.
That is actually pretty funny.
Yeah. Revealed another part of the film that could help Bennifer reconcile. Smith says Payton is only present as a voice within Atlas's suit. And as the film progresses, the two learn to work together. The heart of Atlas is really about trust and how hard it is to trust people. It's a reminder of how we must have deep and meaningful relationships in our lives in some way, shape, or form. You can't do it all alone. You have to choose to trust people at certain time and let them in. So I don't know if he was actually talking about
okay.
the Bennifer relationship. I suspect that this gossip site was like, oh, look, here is a quote that we can apply. Right?
Sure.
So, anyway, I'm sad about their apparently being on the rocks again. I suspect that Jennifer could use some time in Al-Anon. I think maybe she has some codependency issues. She seems like a genuinely sweet person. Can we agree on this?
I agree. You know what I would love
appears to be like a nice person.
Yeah. What I would actually...
much like Affleck's ex.
Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner.
What I was going to say is what I would actually love, this would be an interesting play to write, is one in which J-Lo and Jennifer Garner like go off on a weekend together and just talk about their relationships with Ben and try to figure out what the hell's going on. Okay,
my edit on that, just like my script notes, have them meet at an Al-Anon meeting.
Oh, that's even better. Oh, excellent. I love that note. Love it.
Oh, and maybe the whole like one act, right?
Yeah, no.
Is the Al-Anon meeting.
Right, no. It would be two acts. They meet at the Al-Anon meeting. The second act would be like at a cafe or something where the two of them can talk, just the two of them.
Meeting after the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh,
there
I mean,
I love it.
We've done some good brainstorming here. Anna, we're going to go to Mexico at some point, and we're going to hash this thing out. We're going to writing binge this out. I think it's good.
All right, maybe we can do like a Kickstarter with the patrons.
Yes,
and like get us like a few $1,000 so we can go to Mexico and bang out this. Oh, it's called Jennifer and Jennifer Meet at the Something or Else Cafe.
Oh, yeah. Jennifer and Jennifer at the Writers Cafe or something. Or yeah.
All right, we got to move on. We're having more fun. This is clearly a sign for people, by the way.
Yes. There's no denying the Bennifer stuff is more diverting than what we are about to discuss, although we will make it interesting. So let's get to Chekhov's What's It. This is the thing that often appears in the first act that winds up being, I guess, important in the third act. Anna, what do you got?
Chekhov's pawn. Not pawn. It's not a pawn.
It's a queen. Yeah, it's Chekhov's queen.
It's a queen.
Yes.
Yeah, that confused me because she has her hand around it. I wanted in my defense, I couldn't really tell what it was. Yeah. And I thought it was going to wind up being a pawn, which I was like, that's kind of an interesting symbolic gesture.
And it was not that interesting in the end. Yes.
To make it a queen actually makes it less interesting.
I have Chekhov's quad Americano, which J-Lo's character keeps trying to get during the entire making of the film. Also ironic because, at least according to Erica, who is equally obsessed with the Bennifer thing, J-Lo does not drink coffee. So she does do the caffeine addiction thing well in this film. So I will give her...
There'd be a problem at that Al-Anon meeting. Yeah. Also, maybe that's why, I'm trying to think. I was trying to make a joke about Duncan. Can't quite go there. I guess people can put it together themselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Do it in the Discord. We encourage our listeners in the Discord to make the Duncan joke that Anna was not quite up to do.
Well, I was going to say that their relationship is sweet and sad, much like Dunkin' Donuts.
Actually, the funny thing is, I think Friday was like, I believe it was International Donut Day or National Donut Day. So,
Donut or coffee day?
No, donut.
Donut day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of big holes, let's go.
Oh, bravo. That is a better segue than anything in this film, Anna. Well done.
Thank you. Let's talk about the plot.
All right, let's start with Act 1, Atlas Smugged.
No.
Yep. I'm going to keep doing this.
I'm hopeless.
In the year...
You're like my AI mech-suit.
In the year 2043, a humanoid AI, or technosapien, named Harlan overrides all other bot programming to lead a war of AI against humans, a war that kills 3 million people. The world's most generically named alliance, the International Coalition of Nations. Anna, I'm not joking.
Oh my god, I hadn't really put it together.
Yeah, no, Anna, I'm not kidding. That got me the big... I laughed the hardest in this entire film when I first heard that. I was like, really? That's the what you can... Like, that is the level of screenwriting we are talking about here.
Wow, it's like the national... state of states.
Yeah, it's like, just
it's the
bad. It is a bad name for an alliance. Anyway, the ICN responds with a string of victories against Harlan, causing him to escape to outer space with a dire warning that he will return with a vengeance. Flash forward 28 years, and the not at all symbolically named Atlas Shepard is a brilliant caffeine-addicted ICN analyst who has serious issues with artificial intelligence. Maybe, just maybe, that's because she is the daughter of Harlan's designer. When Harlan's Lieutenant Casca is captured in LA, Atlas is brought in to interrogate him. She succeeds in extracting Harlan's location, and I'm going to underscore this point, in the Andromeda Galaxy.
Of all the things, I was just like, fine. Just fine.
I can't be like, so we're like less than a century from now, 50 years from now, I believe, all in. And apparently intergalactic space travel is a thing. Anyway.
Of all things. Again, of all the things.
I get it. Atlas demands to accompany the mission to hunt him down. The mission leader, Colonel Elias Banks, reluctantly agrees to bring her along on the ICN battleship Daib. Anna, I have many questions about this premise, but I think my basic one is how the ICN could maintain its budget in a world where they had eradicated the threat 28 years earlier.
I'm sorry, what is ICN? What? I've lost track. It's the International Coalition of Nations. What does it do?
They have cool uniforms. That's not even true. Not even the uniforms are interesting.
From the name, if I told you.
Oh, I would assume ICN
I'm going to an assembly of the International Coalition of Nations. What would you think that was about?
What I would think is... Anna, have you been laid vulnerable to an email scam? That's what I would have assumed. That's actually what I would have assumed.
Or is it like a knockoff Model UN? Like, that's like...
I have to say, if you just say the initials ICN, my initial response is, oh, is that like supposed to be like some like fictional, glamorous international news network or something? That's basically what I would have
Or
thought.
A gaming site, right?
Yeah.
But... So anyway, I was also going to say, holy exposition dump. That first, 5 minutes is just, narration of... It's just straight narration. There's no... It's not even, and I have to say, one bright point, I always love the use of the Hollywood sign to indicate, a dystopia.
That was true. That was a legitimately good thing in this film. I did like the Hollywood sign.
Or not dystopia. This is future.
Yeah, future Hollywood sign, and it's mammoth, and it actually was the one thing that made me think, oh, this actually is in the future. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked the shots of future LA. Yeah. I also thought when she has that huge multi-screen wall that's showing all the different things, I was like, that is the future.
Yeah.
I can imagine that screen situation happening next year,
Or in I'm sure it exists now actually somewhere. So yeah.
I also will say, I thought her interrogation of Casca was kind of cool. The little trick she pulls was genuinely kind of that's a cool interrogation technique. It's just a mind thing, not a pain thing.
Right.
There is a lot of torture in this movie, which is weird.
Yeah.
The Casca thing, and part of me wants to save this for debrief, but everything is niggling. Right? There's all this niggling stuff in addition to big stuff. Yeah. So this actually gets to a larger issue. which is if these AIs can like, if Harlan can take over every AI in the world through like Wi-Fi, I guess,
basically, or like hacking or whatever. Yeah.
You can't stop them. They're omnipotent. I mean,
we will get to the IR portion of this, and I'll give you a preview. It's bad. It's really bad, Anna. But yes, that is a valid point to raise. Basically, like, the film starts with...
There's no sneaking up on them.
No, the film
That's the thing,
starts...
like, with Casca. There's no sneaking up.
The way I would put it is, like, the nonstop voiceover narration and, like, exposition dump of that first 5 minutes, you can see the hands being waved as furiously as possible, like, during that entire thing. And the only virtue of that is that it means that you sort of are inured to the rest of the hand waving that goes on throughout the rest of the film. Like, again, intergalactic transport.
Well, like, there are fixes for, like, all of that, right? Like, if someone had thought 2 seconds, you don't have to make it, you could make it, there's a particular kind of software.
Right.
That he can take over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then it makes sense to have other kinds of AI.
Right.
But as it is, we should be living after the Butlerian Jihad.
Right.
Like, we should...
Or like the Battlestar Galactica way of responding to this, which is, okay, we're going to have...
dumb machines only. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. Let's get on to Act 2, Atlas Mugged.
Nope.
Harlan is hiding out on an inhospitable, gravity-varying planet. Banks and his rangers plan to capture Harlan using mech suits and syncing with AIs. By the way, again, like, also a legitimately weird thing. Like, really? I mean, like, I was with Team Atlas on this one. I was like, wait, why are you syncing with an AI if you're trying to capture one? Whatever, you know. Anyway, they're going to use mech suits and sync with AIs via a neural link. Just as they are about to drop, however, Harlan launches a surprise attack on the Daib, leaving the Rangers scrambling. Dan. Yes?
Their hubris is their downfall.
My God! I never saw that coming! Wow! Whoa!
I was going to say that line. That's like now one of my favorite lines of any movie we've ever watched. Their hubris is their downfall. Yeah. Wow. What do you know?
Which, as you pointed out in text to me, that's what hubris means.
Yes. If people don't know. That's right.
Okay. Anyway.
That Deus Ex Mechanica really was a plot device that fell out of the sky.
Atlas has no choice but to enter a mech suit herself and falls to the planet as the ship is damaged, with a lot of Rangers getting picked off in the process. Atlas manages to gain basic control of the mech despite, let's just say, trust issues with the onboard AI, who introduces himself as Smith. Atlas orders Smith to head to the planned drop point, where she finds almost all of the Rangers dead. Fending off an attack from Harlan's forces, she foolishly sets off an ion bomb that creates a sinkhole. Recognizing that maybe she can't do this all on her own, Atlas reluctantly agrees to directly interface her mind with Smith, allowing for greater control of the mech. As they make their way towards a rescue pod, Atlas and Smith begin to bond. Anna, this was by far my least favorite part of the film, and that's because, I mean this sincerely, like, you're right, J-Lo is gorgeous, she can be a good actress. Throughout half of this film, all you are doing is watching her in a mech suit scream and grunt in fear. It was actually unpleasant.
Yeah. And may I suggest, Dan, if you want to watch J-Lo doing an amazing acting job in the middle of a metal enclosure, a small enclosed space, I suggest Out of Sight. The trunk scene.
Yes. She's really good at that. She and Clooney are fantastic at that.
Fantastic. Yes. It's probably a smaller space.
It is. It's more confined. Absolutely.
And her getting a little sweaty in that context.
It makes more sense.
I mean... Makes more sense. Also, it's kind of cool. Yeah. Speaking of getting sweaty, though, this was a problem I had. Why is it hard for her to work the mech suit?
So
the whole point of mech suits, like, okay, you can say it's because they're not fully
safe. That was the one thing I was going to say.
Make it harder to lift.
I agree with that.
Foot.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And then and this is the point at which I wrote down in my notes. It would be funny if this became an AI buddy movie. And then it became...
An AI buddy movie.
And it wasn't funny. I was wrong. I was wrong to say it would be funny if it became
No,
an AI
you know what this was? The problem was this wasn't an AI buddy film at this point. It became an AI bonding film at this point. So it was going for drama and not comedy. All right, for those of you who are not patrons, it's time for our advertising break. We'll be right back after these messages from Starbucks. Anna, I would like to thank Yoga Pants sincerely for this, because it's the best moment in the film, which we will get to.
Okay, we mostly stayed away from lecherousness and talking about J-Lo.
I am not going to apologize for being a heterosexual man watching J-Lo in this film.
And you know what? Like, I've said this before, but like, I am pro just admiring people's sexiness. I think it can get weird, but like, I appreciate a sexy lady.
Yeah.
I do. I don't know where that puts me on the Kinsey scale exactly, but she's sexy.
She is.
Yes, it's objectively true.
Yeah. We will get to that. But first, let's get through the rest of this plot. Act 3, did an AI write this half of the script? Which would make a lot of sense, Anna. Running low on power, Atlas nonetheless persuades Smith to head to Harlan's base in order to tag it with a homing beacon for a long-range strike from ICN forces. However, once at the base, Harlan is able to hack Smith and disable the mech-suit. Atlas is captured and brought to Harlan, who monologues that his evil plan all along was to bait ICN forces to come to him so he could take control of their ships and penetrate Earth's defenses. Now he has rebuilt the Daib to return to Earth. Harlan goes on to monologue that he intends to Thanos humanity, allowing the chosen survivors a chance to thrive under benevolent, despotic AI rule. To do so, Harlan will use the Daib's carbon bombs to burn Earth's atmosphere and I guess kill more than half of Earth's population. I literally wrote shrug emoji after that. Like, that doesn't quite work, but sure, whatever. After extracting information from a crippled Colonel Banks, he obtains the other half of the security codes from Atlas, leaving her and Banks to die at the hands of his minions. Anna, I have already forgotten most of this film, so maybe I'm misremembering. But did Harlan extract info from the human characters by drilling into their eyeballs? How does that even work, and how are either Atlas or Banks able to see afterwards?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
And there's like it's pointless torture, especially since they have such a thing called a Neuralink.
Right, yeah,
like,
that's a fair point. Yes, yeah.
You could forcibly put a Neuralink. Apparently, it plugs directly into your brain, and I guess it has trouble syncing completely, but it can scan memories and whatnot.
Well, it has trouble syncing if you don't trust, and that was, of course, Atlas's issue.
But like it still was able to scan J-Lo's memories. Mm-hmm. Like Smith was able to scan J-Lo's memories. So why torture? Why need 2 codes from 2 people? It doesn't make any sense. And then also, like, I don't even know. I mean, I have notes. I guess I was going to flip over for debris field, but like, this was all just yada yada, like, okay, fine. I do feel bad that Simu Liu, is that how you say his name?
Simu Liu, yeah.
Yeah. He's great in 10 Rings.
Shang-Chi, right? Yeah. Like, he's fantastic in that, yeah. Also Barbie.
And he's got a ton of charisma. Yeah. He's a very fun actor to watch. Not here. No.
And this is where, like, he's not good in this. I also don't blame him that much because it was clear that he was sort of directed to play this, like, honestly plastic, AI figure. Like, it's not, he's not, unfortunately, he's not
even menacing.
Yeah, that was to say, he isn't menacing. That's part of the problem. I grant you that. Yeah. He doesn't deliver on anything, and it's unfortunate. All right, let's close out with the plot. Act 4, Atlas tugged.
That sounds like the X-rated
Does that sound like the porn version?
This is the porn version of this movie.
Okay. Banks gives Atlas his neural device so she can remotely activate her mech. Atlas succeeds, and Smith comes to their rescue. In order to reach 100% interface, however, Atlas finally reveals her predictable tragic backstory. As a child, she gave Harlan an unfettered interface with her mind, which allowed Harlan to kill her mother and start the war. Smith tells Atlas, a la Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting, do you like how I got the Ben Affleck, reference?
Oh, nice, yeah.
It's not her fault. She and Banks break out, and Banks sacrifices himself for the mission. Atlas and Smith fight their way out and destroy Harlan's ship just before it is about to take off. They then defeat Harlan in hand-to-hand combat, although not without Smith being mortally wounded.
With a sword? He has a sword?
Sure.
Why does he have a sword?
Because he can make anything. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. The point is, Smith shuts down, giving his remaining oxygen to Atlas so she can survive. Back on Earth, Atlas is now waking up early, Anna. Her superior, General Booth, informs her that Harlan's CPU will take years to analyze. Atlas is now a ranger testing the newest mech model created with her suggested modifications. Although, since the threat was neutralized, why does the ICN even exist anymore?
Hey, it lasted 28 years when the threat was
That's
neutralized
true.
before.
Anywho, as she boots it up.
Also,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
No, go ahead.
never mind. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just last sentence. Anywho, as she boots it up, her AI sure sounds like Smith, suggesting that it survived. Anna, 2 final thoughts on this film. First, the 100% neural link was a total letdown and actually legitimately unimaginative by everyone involved. There was no real difference in how Smith and Atlas behaved or communicated. That seems like a missed opportunity. Like, surely you could have made the 100% like, they don't say anything, they're literally just thinking it. Or you, like, visually it could have been interesting. None of that. It was just boring. Second, I have now decided that Sterling K. Brown, is just bulletproof as an actor. He can be good in anything, which means he is the child of Lawrence Fishburne. He is the inheritor of the not sucking when everything around you sucks.
Sure. I also like pie and cake, Dan.
I too like pie and cake. Yes.
I don't know why you should be forced to choose. Although, my real answer to that question is cheesecake. I don't like pie. I like cheesecake best of all. Although I guess, is that technically a cake?
I mean, it does have cake in the title, but it's not.
Cheesecake.
It's not what we think of as cake, is the thing. So, like, I think that it's valid to point out that's a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a dumb movie.
It's a very dumb film. Yeah.
Like I said, it's sort of like I have all this stuff, but all of it feels like debris field because it's just there's big stuff that feels small and small stuff that feels big. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Let's move on to something that might be vaguely more interesting. It's a question I have for you, Dan.
Oh, please, go ahead, Anna.
Is there IR in this dumb movie?
Anna, after watching this film, I don't actually like anybody, and I don't like international relations anymore. That is how bad this film was. It has squeezed the joy out of world politics for me. If you told me that the IR in this film was conceived by a shitty AI bot, I would believe you. Just to list the things that I found incredibly dispiriting in the IR in this film. First of all, the ICN. We've already gone over this. What the fuck? This is a small point, but like, if you're going to talk about an international coalition of nations, could you have cast at least one person who was not Anglo or American in the coalition? Yeah. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. So it was all Americans except for Mark Strong, who plays a British guy. It was the least convincing multilateral coalition ever. Second, I'm supposed to believe that Harlan's solution for humanity is that either Ultron or Thanos were right. I mean, he really, like, his logic was a combination of those two. Of like, nope, the only way to deal with humanity is to just destroy it. Didn't make much sense. I also refuse to believe, by the way, that Atlas could have kept her role in weaponizing Harlan a secret. Like, there is no way that, like, she managed to not say anything for 28 years and no one else could have figured out what had happened. Like, that was just totally unbelievable. But perhaps the biggest thing, the thing that completely, like, I could not get past, was why in the fucking fuck would an AI feel the need for territory? Like, why does an AI want to conquer Earth?
Yeah.
All the, like, among other things.
If you can go to Andromeda Galaxy, why not peace out?
Exactly. Why? Like, there was no reason for Harlan to come back to conquer Earth. There was no need. If you have intergalactic space travel, guess what? Scarcity is not a problem anymore. You're not interested in power. Literally, the only thing you care about is electric power. You just need to make sure that you can power yourself. You don't need to control humanity. The logic of an AI desiring power somehow, even in the premise of we need to, control humanity, makes no goddamn sense in a world in which the universe is your oyster. Yeah.
If you're going to stay and if you're going to have a form, which my question was like, why have a form? Why be human?
Yeah.
If you're going to fight humans, why not be mech-suits?
Yeah, yeah.
Why not just, like, be huge things that could defeat humans?
I mean,
none of it...
Yeah.
None of it makes sense.
No. Like, let me put it this way. This film makes the creator look so much better. I mean, we talked about it. The creator is not a bad film, but it's not a perfect film. But, like, compared
to... AI propaganda.
Yeah. But compared to this, it's so much better. God, it was just... it was very frustrating. So, I hate IR now, which I guess leads me to a question that I should ask you, Anna, because I'm legitimately curious. Is there a critique of capitalism in this film?
Dan, we need to sink. We need to sink, Dan! We need to sink! I don't like doing this segment anymore. I mean... I came up with one really good one, which is the ICN is a product of capitalism constantly needing a war machine, right? Like
It's sure.
You always got to have an enemy in order to keep like the machine running. But I mean, and I've talked to this before, like, I kind of don't like doing this anymore. And I think it's because capitalism has won and I just feel defeated.
I'm sorry, Anna. You don't have to do this. You know what? We can change things up. I think you're right.
Yeah, maybe I don't need a shtick, or maybe it's just a season of my life where thinking about this too much. Like, there's a lot. I'll be honest. Like this, there's just. I mean, it's just depressing.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what? For Hot Sci-Fi Summer, maybe we can take the break from the critique of capitalism.
You know what? Like, what would be kind of fun? Like, let's make it fun, which is like, maybe it's the sort of like the least you can say thing, like, which is like, Anna, or I could recommend something that's kind of like this movie, but better. Like, I want to accentuate the positive.
Yes, that's a good one.
I want to accentuate the positive.
Good. Yeah, I like that.
And make things better for people. And so if it's a bad movie, maybe I can just be like, you know what? It's a better version of this movie. Sort of like we just said, The Creator's like a better version of this movie. It's still not a great movie, but it's a better version of this movie. It's a much
more watchable film than this is by far. Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, like, we did Ex Machina before. Like, I mean, that's a great movie. So I don't know. Like, we can maybe just play around with this. And I'd be open to patrons commenting on the Discord. I think this might have to do, I mean, and not to get, no, it's not even personal. Like, the stuff that's happening that's depressing is stuff that's out there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And actually, like, something that I've mentioned here, and I think it's part of, like, the critique, I wish there's a better critique of capitalism, is that I'm just going to emphasize again, like, journalism is dying. And I'm not exaggerating. And I want, like, everyday people to understand, like, that New York article, like, journalism is undergoing an extinction level event. That is happening. That is, more people are out of work than I've ever seen before. There have been tens of, like, literally, like, 10,000 media layoffs in the past, like, year or something like that. I want to get back to laughing and talking about fun stuff. So I'm going to stop this little segment, but yeah, like, support. You know what I will say here?
You know what, Anna? You need to.
There are a bunch.
The only thing I will say is maybe we need to presume the best of intent among those who are, you know, fucking up journalism. And here I'm referring to the Washington Post's editor, publisher. Sorry, that was an inside joke, but the Washington Post, which is in the middle of, let's just say, some disruption. And by the way, this is the thing where I do feel this personally. I mean, I wrote for the Post for 8 years, you know, and they were good to me when I was writing for them. I want to see the newspaper do well. And Will Lewis, the publisher, sort of acknowledged that, quote, trust has been lost. And, you know, like, the passive voice is a tell that he's the one who's been losing it. And, you know, he asked Post employees to, quote, leave, you know, those scars behind and start presuming the best of intent, which, by the way, is the opposite of what a journalist should do when they are covering anyone in power. Like, just to be clear about this. Yeah.
I saw one person comment that, you know, as a journalist, a supposed journalist, this guy, like Will Lewis, should know that when you tell people not to pursue, when you tell a journalist not to pursue a story, that means that journalists are going to, like, double time pursue it. And I'm like, oh, so he's being a good editor. Like, he's actually, like,
oh, I like the idea that he was actually like reverse psychology, like, with
he's getting his people to work harder, right? Like, getting more out of them.
That's interesting.
But I will say, Dan, that I think letting you go or not renewing your contract is an example of the decay.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a hard journalist, but, like, you were doing fairly serious analysis.
And I was cheap for them. Let's be clear. I was providing good value.
You were cheap for them too, right? But they're less and less interested. I mean, freelance budgets have dried up. Yeah. Instead, they're, like, making staff work harder and then outsourcing, like, and then, you know, fucking AI brought on in some regards. So it is actually, like, applicable to the movie we're talking about. Oh, I was going to say, if I'm going to, like, promote something, and again, applicable to what we're talking about in the sense that AI is killing journalism, I want to encourage people to look for publications that are either, like, worker owned or cooperative in some way. And that would include, actually, I have a piece of news, which is I'm going to join Flaming Hydra.
Yay!
Which is a cooperative newsletter. It doesn't earn a lot of money, but it's a place to, it's a place to write. Also, like, 404, which is the former Vice folks, Tech Thing, Defector, which is the former Gawker, and Deadspin folks doing something. Like, there are a lot of publications out there that are public, like funded by donations and not and not private equity. But even more importantly, I would look to places that are cooperatively owned or do profit sharing in some way, because I think that's the way that journalism survives. No. Moving on, Dan.
Okay, let's speaking of which, let's get to the least you can do. We have noticed that on occasion, Anna or I, in this case both of us, damns a movie with faint praise that would be very funny if it were actually on a movie poster as an endorsement. Anna, do you have any such faint praise for this film?
Jennifer Lopez is an attractive woman, and this is certainly a movie with her in it.
She stars in it. I have. This is funny. You'll appreciate this. This is a film in the same genre as Ex Machina.
Good.
That's
I would say, like Ex Machina, this movie also has AI in it.
Yes. There we go. Oh, wait. It's time for Discordant Notes. This is when we take questions from the Discord and answer them in the podcast. There weren't a lot of questions for this one. There was more like, oh dear God,
there
comments.
Were some puns.
Yeah,
there were puns.
But Jim Rubel did ask a legitimate question, which was Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon 2 too cerebral for hot sci-fi summer? And Jim, I am glad you asked that question, because it actually allows me to say something positive about Zack Snyder, which is Rebel Moon 2 is goddamn sci-fi Citizen Kane compared to this mess. I am actually looking forward, and I hope that the How Did This Get Made crew does something with this movie, because it will be hilarious. Or the Flophouse, or, like one of those genre of podcasts.
One of the bad movie podcasts. Yeah. And I will say, Not Even Laundry helps this movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, still shots of J-Lo. If you want to experience this movie, that is the way to go. If you can find publicity stills, you're gonna get everything you can get out of this movie.
Yes, because none of those publicity stills will include her being in the mech-suit, which is good. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, hey, we're falling from the sky.
Ting, ting, ting.
Yep. It's time for the debris field. This is when we discuss stuff that we had not gotten to about the film, book / TV show. Anna, do you have a lot of stuff?
Cable news format is going strong in this film. Has not changed one bit, which is really depressing, I think.
Sure. All right, I'm going to start by saying some things that I liked. One thing I did like was the term technosapien, which admittedly makes no sense whatsoever, but it did, like, it I don't know why, like, it actually resonated. I like that term to describe the AI bots, so I was fine with that.
Chess means you're smart. Also hasn't changed in the future.
Well, wait a minute.
If you can play chess, you are a smart person.
Okay.
Which is not true. I dated a guy. I don't play chess. I don't know why that is. Like, I just never have had, like, I've been taught it and then just, like, not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't. It just doesn't. My entire family plays chess. Also, my entire family plays bridge, and I don't play bridge either. Oh. And I think I just have, like, some
block,
like, thing with it. But I dated a guy that played chess, and I was like, oh, he must be smart. Not smart. It's not very smart.
I now think that we need to have a theme month based around all of your exes, like the sci-fi film that explains your exes. I really like this idea, and we're gonna need to workshop this one.
I mean, it's gonna take some, like, you're gonna talk to my therapist. Yeah. like you and she can work it out. I'm not sure if I'm, like, the right person to have that self-knowledge, but go ahead.
Okay. Again, sticking with the positive stuff that I can say, the best special effect in this film is J-Lo in yoga pants. The one reward you get in this film is at the end of the film, you see her in yoga pants, and god damn does this woman look good.
Okay, see, you said that to me, and I was like, okay, what? And you don't mean special effect. Like, you just mean she looks good.
No, I just mean she looks good. No, I'm not suggesting
you mean it's special.
Yes, it is a special effect. You rarely see J-Lo in yoga pants. We got to see her in this. Her costuming overall, actually, hers, not everyone else's, but hers in this film, actually quite good. She dresses really well. I like, she looks great.
I have right here, love the bedhead.
Yeah.
Love that she has kind of messy hair throughout. I love that. Also will say, sort of said this before, but lots of robots for a world that was betrayed by robots.
Also, again, it is telling that, again, the best single scene in this film is her in the yoga pants. And then it's like, but we're going to spend more than half the film with her in a mech suit where you can't see her.
Mech-suit.
Like, it was telling about the level of intelligence in the making of this film.
I think there's a pronoun joke, which is actually a little bit funny, but now I wrote it down, but now I don't remember it.
You're right. I do remember this being somewhat funny.
It's one of the AIs says that her pronouns are she, her. And I was like,
Yes.
Is that one of those condescending pronoun jokes?
I didn't think so.
An actual joke?
I thought it was an actual joke. I didn't think it was a condescending one.
Yeah. It wasn't like...
I remember laughing and not wincing. That would be the way I would put it.
Yeah, I think it's an actual joke.
Yeah.
And not I think that's true. I think because I think it's supposed to be that J-Lo is supposed to be doing the dick move of not recognizing pronouns, right? And so
I think
the
you're
joke
right.
is actually
Yeah.
on J-Lo. Okay, all right.
All right, now on to the negative. This was so derivative of so many other better films. Like, as I was watching, I was like, okay, Aliens, check. Ex Machina, check. Terminator, check. Even Age of Ultron, check. Like, it just was like borrowing from everything and not doing it in an interesting way at all. So that was one of the things that got me annoyed with the film.
So I do have their hubris was their downfall written. And then, wow, everyone is so bad at militarying.
Yes.
Like, it's...
Yes.
Like, Sterling K. Brown, doing yeoman's work is like, we're going to be fine. Like, we're just going to drop down... do some shooting pang, pang,
Bing, pew,
I guess
pew,
bang,
pew,
bang,
pew,
bang,
pew,
bang, pew, pew,
Yeah.
and then we win, and then no, round her up, we'll be fine. It's like the least, well, it's like not even an invasion. It's not even like an attack or like a ground assault. It's just like, drop some mech suits, in, out, bing, bang, boom,
I mean, so my thing is, and this is frustrating, none of the actual sci-fi outside of the artificial intelligence is explained at all. Like, you were talking about the exposition dump, which is incredibly annoying. But, like, again, this just kept bugging me. Like, you have intergalactic space travel. You have space battleships. You have mech suits and so on and so forth. Almost not, like, it's all hand-waved except for the AI. The AI is integral to the film, which, again, is a boring film. But, like, it was like, wait, when did the intergalactic travel get discovered? Like, I couldn't let that go. I know you were, like, fine with it, but, like, it's just another thing.
I just was like, of all the things, just didn't make it into my list. Unlike, I did think to myself, actually who could have probably acted their way out of, not a paper bag, but I guess a metal bag.
Who?
Florence Pugh.
Yes. Oh, God. She would have been legitimately interesting in the lead. Like, that would have been, Or as the Simu Liu character.
Like the right lead, this could have been okay.
Yes, or she could have been the Simu Liu character. That would have been also really interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so this is not a huge thing, but there was a small part of me I kept laughing when, like, it's interesting to hear why they cast the AI voices they did. I kept wondering, like, what if they did Scarlett Johansson as the Smith voice?
Oh, that'd be funny.
That would have been funny.
Actually, a female AI would have been interesting.
Also would have been good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Or Scarlett Johansson as the Simu Liu
also would have been good.
Like,
yeah, I agree.
She can do pretty, like, villainous.
Oh, I think at some point we should have a ScarJo month because she's been in some legitimately interesting sci-fi.
ScarJoannery.
Yes. Ooh, I like that. Scar January. Yes, that could work.
ScarJotober. ScarJo. No, I like
Scar January is better.
The first time.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, it looks kind of shitty. Just that written, like the whole movie just looks kind of shitty.
Yep. I only have one more thing. So my last thing is just cast Simu Liu and Mark Strong in better stuff. Like, by the way, this was evidence to me that it wasn't just Simu Liu that was bad. Mark Strong is a great actor, and he was reading his lines, and it was almost like you could see him internally struggling to be like, why the fuck is this character saying this again? It was unconvincing. He brought no energy to the performance.
Agree. All right, so Planty was kind of funny.
Oh, Planty was funny.
Laughed at that.
That's true. Yeah.
Laughed at that. Mm-hmm. Just reading from my notes here. Oh, God, the philosophy. There's a...
Oh, that does remind me. There was one thing that I did think was, like, mildly interesting. Which is, did you see, like, in the opening exposition, I think they actually had a real, like, news clip of Jeffrey Hinton warning about AI.
Oh.
Like, he's a real...
Well, they have a philosophical discussion about the nature of consciousness, which is just, like, I don't care in this movie. Like, in general, I guess I care, but, like, they don't need to be having this discussion. The scene where Sterling K. Brown and J-Lo are locked up, why did they have chains on this planet? Where did they get them from?
Not even that, The whole, like, no, that, you're right. I forgot. The whole, like, dank basement / like...
Why is there a dank basement?
I was like, wait a minute. He built this state-of-the-art facility. Why would they have this room? Like, that didn't make any sense to me.
Why do they have the equipment to interrogate humans?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it looks like it's been used.
Yes.
What is happening?
Yeah. Totally fair.
There's several lines that I thought about using with you, and one of them is you did not consider that I am an expert on you, Dan.
Good.
There is also a line, I think it's the Pilates, which I did laugh at, when she's like, how did you survive that torture to, Sterling K. Brown? And like, he says, I think it's the Pilates.
Oh, that was good from him. Yes.
Funny.
Yeah, that's a good line. I agree.
Genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Some of the worst dialogue, how did you know I'd hack it in time? I trusted you. That's not how you know someone's going to hack something in time.
No.
That is not. That's a lovely sentiment. Mm-hmm. It is, but not a reason
really
to know that.
Yeah.
Why would AIs want to look human? I'm just like reading my, like...
Why would AIs ever want to control humanity? That was the obvious one. Yeah.
Is she going to finish that coffee pop? That is another...
Oh, that's right. Yes. Because he makes her the last thing Smith does before he expires is make the coffee.
Before he dies, is like he gives her like a little coffee pop.
Yeah.
I assumed it was like an iced coffee.
I assumed it was a quad Americano, but in lollipop form. Yeah.
And in the form of a pop. Yeah. But like he gives it to her as he's dying, and like that's a weird thing to do. Like if you have a best friend who's dying, and they're like, by the way, I got you a coffee. And you're like, oh, that's so good. Thank you so much. Like, I was going to fall asleep. Like, this is really exhausting.
That's good. I like that.
Your dying is just like, I don't even know. I can't even.
Okay, Anna, I think we've wrung almost everything possible out of this film.
You're right, we probably have. It's we had a lot more fun talking about it than I did watching it.
It is way more fun talking about it with you than it is watching it. That's true. But again, for our viewers...
What are we doing next?
We are doing greatest crossovers ever, so we're going to be doing Star Trek Generations, followed by X-Men Days of Future Past.
And then we might do Avengers, and I do want to see... I have not seen any of the Deadpool movies, as we've said. I don't like Ryan Reynolds very much, but I like Hugh Jackman. I have fallen for the marketing.
We can do Deadpool. We'll talk about what we're doing, for the next couple months. We'll.
There are rumors of a Taylor Swift cameo in that movie.
Ooh.
I doubt if that's actually going to happen, but...
I'd even take a Travis Kelce cameo. So, we'll see.
Yeah, he seems destined to have cameos and things.
I agree.
I'm sure he already has. Yeah. His podcast with his brother is actually pretty funny, by the way.
Good to know.
I will endorse that. His brother seems like a genuinely very cool dude.
I have to say, I like Jason Kelce. I particularly enjoyed post-retirement Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
He's clearly watching him at the Super Bowl, like drunk off his ass and shirtless. That was pretty great. Like that's a man who's enjoying his life.
He is just like a lovable lunkhead, and I feel like Travis Kelce is a less lovable lunkhead. Like
I think the way I would put it is that Jason Kelce seems like someone who is entirely comfortable in his own skin, happy with his life, happy with his marriage, perfectly delighted now that he no longer needs to train. Travis Kelce, obviously a little more media savvy is the way I would put it. Like
he's kind of like a weirdly kind of tryhard. Like, I mean, I don't know. More. This is turning into a sports podcast, which I don't think anyone wants to hear from us. But if people do want to hear more from us, we were both on Blue Sky.
Yep.
At Dan Dressner.
At Anna Marie Cox.
At Anna Marie Cox. Yep. You have a Substack. I haven't done my Substack in a month, but I swear to God I'm going to do it at some point. Okay. It's going to start again.
Good.
Perhaps for the Blu-ray release of Civil War. Also, Dan, I will tell you, breaking news, I am thinking of just like using it as my Substack to like whatever.
Okay.
Because...
You set it up.
And the challenge for me that I think it could be fun is like relate everything back to Civil War.
So, like, in other words, it would be like you would be writing about anything you wanted, but it would have to end with, and that's why we need to watch Civil War again. It would be like,
how in Civil War, so and so says XYZ. Well, I've been thinking, like, I actually quite seriously.
I'm sorry. I like this Civil War / Sex and the City Carrie Bradshaw column mashup. This is good.
I'm thinking. But isn't everything a civil war? But like I have
Are we trying to date or are we trying to kill each other?
Written about. Oh yeah, I like it. I have this piece that I kind of halfway wrote about Hunter Biden trial and Donald Trump trial, which I'm sure someone else has made this point, but I haven't made it, which is all prosecutions are political. Like, yeah, you know, like who gets prosecuted is a political decision. And also, white guys get away with stuff. So it's weird when they don't. So if you think that this looks weird, yeah, it looks weird. You know, and we can fight about which of these laws should be enforced, but they're both laws.
Right.
These are laws that exist that these men appear to have.
That's the least you could do endorsement for the prosecution. These are laws that exist and they were broken.
Well, I mean, that's true. It's just true. Neither of them are enforced in the way that they're being enforced right now. Like, it is also true that neither of these laws are enforced in the way that they're being enforced right now. But you can't be like, one of these is a terrible political prosecution and the other one is like totally like justice being done.
No, I agree.
I mean, you can say that, but that's an argument about the laws themselves,
right? And
not the decision to prosecute them. Anyway, so I was going to tie that back to the Civil War in kind of a serious way, which is like, how do we deal with people who we want to have justice against, right? In the movie, they just shoot the fucking guy.
Yep. Or torture.
Right?
Don't forget torture. Yeah.
Yeah, like they just shoot the guy. But laws are also kind of random in a way. Like the way that they're enforced are random. Anyway, I don't know exactly. That would be the basic thing. I don't know if I've thought out fully the connective tissue there, but I don't need to.
No, it's a Substack.
Can I just make that one line?
Yeah. Go write it.
Unlike you, Dan, I have a real hard time putting my first drafts out in public. So
I've had decades getting used to that. So yeah.
Maybe I will. That's right. It's the academic thing. It's like.
Well, also the blogging thing.
Yeah. We talked about this. I never thought of my blog as first draft.
That's true. So, I did. That was the difference. But like I always remember you at that APSA panel. You once said blogging makes bad writing look pretty, and that was a good line.
And so you took that as like permission, and I took that as like, oh, it's something I need to get over.
Hold on, I wouldn't say I took that as permission. It wasn't like I was aiming at bad writing. It was that
you were like, oh, I can write badly, and it will look pretty. And I was like, oh, I need to overcome this crutch.
No, it was that I will get. I think it was more like I will get stuff wrong, and that's okay. Like, it's not that I wanted to get stuff wrong. It's that I lost a little bit of my fear of it has to be perfect.
Also, this is a little bit, white guys are allowed to make mistakes in public. I'm not blaming you.
Sure.
It's a thing in our world where white guys are allowed to make mistakes in public and other people.
I thought you were going to say the hot women.
Allowed less leeway.
Yes.
Even hot women are held to a higher standard, Dan.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I think in all seriousness, the other thing for me was that was always it was a side hustle for me, which was an important difference. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, we're back to talk about journalism again, which I'm not turning this into. I would love to do a journalism podcast with you, Dan, but that is not what this is.
No, this was sci-fi, and we are done talking about Atlas, and we will not talk about it ever again.
Okay, until next time.
Keep this channel open.